Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. I am Tiffany, and I am here with another recipe in the Voices for Independence Fitness and Activity group. This evening, what I'm going to share with you is a delicious recipe for a baked chicken parmesan. So I like this recipe because typically when you see chicken parmesan on a menu, it's usually deep fried chicken, but this time we're going to make it a little bit healthier by baking it. So what you're going to need for this recipe, it calls for about 2 pounds of chicken. Now, being just the two of us here, I am going to be making a lesser amount, so you can follow along the recipe when I attach in the comments below. But you're going to need some breadcrumbs, seasoned or unseasoned, Parmesan cheese, some seasonings, garlic and onion powder, and a little black pepper and salt to taste if you so desire. For this, what I have done is I have prepared some of it in advance because there's a couple steps to this recipe, and I'll show you the beginning, middle, and end. So what you're going to want to do first is get your chicken breasts and make sure you prepare them. I like to butterfly my chicken breasts, which means cut them horizontally across the midsection so they become 2 pieces. I do this because I feel it bakes a little better in the oven, and lots of times when we buy the chicken at the regular grocery store, unless we're buying free-range chicken, sometimes it can be a little bit larger and doesn't always cook tender all the way through. The center might be more tender, but the outside can become dry if it's too thick. So I like to butterfly my chicken breasts. Mine are a little bit smaller because they are free range, but again, any chicken you have will do. What you're going to do then is in our mixing bowl, we are going to add some breadcrumbs. Now, if you're using unseasoned breadcrumbs, you'll want to add a little bit of Italian seasoning to it, but I am going to add about 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs to this mixture, and I have seasoned, so I am going to forego the Italian seasoning. Then also you want to add about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic and 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Again, this is for the half recipe. I will be sharing the full recipe with you in the comments. And then we're going to add a little bit of our Parmesan cheese, about 1 tablespoon of the grated Parmesan. You can also use fresh if you so desire. I feel this grated Parmesan mixes up a little bit better for our breading mixture. Then we're just going to stir that together. I am just going to use one of my scoops I had out already and mix all of your dry ingredients together because we are going to just lightly coat our chicken breasts in this breading. In the meantime, you want to set your oven for 375 degrees. It's going to cook at a pretty warm oven for about 30 minutes. So let me grab my baking pan here so we can get prepared. So, hitting everything. All right, so we're gonna take our chicken breast and lightly dredge, which means fully coat or pull through the breadcrumbs, but I'm just gonna flip it around. And we're gonna set that on a greased baking dish. And we're gonna do that with both pieces. Remember, once you are done with the breadcrumb mixture, this is not something you'll wanna keep. We are putting raw meat in it, so a lot of bacteria can form, and it was not able to be consumed after this initial use. Unless you're doing more raw chicken right now and adding more chicken to your baking dish, you are gonna wanna dispose of this. So this is gonna go in the oven at 375 for 15 minutes. At 15 minutes, you're gonna flip it over and bake for another 15. Then at that point, we're going to pull it out of the oven, which I had done just a little before we got on here. And now we're going to want to add that tomato sauce and the mozzarella cheese to make it that true chicken Parmesan taste. What I have done is I had just using up that leftover pasta sauce that has been in our refrigerator. It's a perfect amount for this dish. So I'm just going to put a couple tablespoons on each of my chicken breasts that are baked in the oven here. And it's a perfect amount since I'm finishing up the jar. You'll put that right on top, and then we're just gonna finish it off with some fresh mozzarella. I'm gonna slice up, let me get a fresh knife out. And if you have grated mozzarella, you can use that as well. I just had some fresh mozzarella left in our refrigerator, so I'm using that up this evening. And again, it doesn't take much. We just want less than a quarter cup is needed for the whole recipe. So I'm just going to put a couple thin slices right on top of my chicken breasts. And then this is gonna go back in your 375-degree oven for 10 to 15 more minutes. Now this truly depends on the thickness of your chicken and the temperature of your oven, how well it heats at 375. Mine being thinner slices, since I butterfly my chicken, will probably go in for about 5 to 7 more minutes should be enough. Always check your chicken for doneness. You can tell by the color mostly, but the best way is to always check the temperature. I will be attaching the recipe in the comments below, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.